crazy about. Everybody was just they're ready to hand them the world. And there's nothing wrong with that because Shadir Sanders threw for 510 yards, 4 touchdowns. That's absolutely incredible for your debut at a school that won one game last season. Also, Travis Hunter was absolutely incredible on both sides of the ball. He wound up catching 11 balls, getting over 100 yards receiving. Then he was able to get one of the biggest interceptions of the weekend because it was an interception that ensured that Colorado could keep that lead. And the funniest part about it is he did it right in front of a bunch of trash talking fans that were actually messing with him before the game. So it made it that much more sweeter. So it was just an absolute how you like me now type of game for Deion Sanders and his Colorado Buffaloes. And I truly do feel that Deion was in sync with everything you need to be in an opening game. He did not blink at all. He didn't make any bad decisions. He went with the flow of the game, and his team wound up playing absolutely tremendous. And his leadership was very significant in this game. And the confidence of this group is just outstanding because when you see their confidence, it reminds you of a bunch of little prime times running out there because how confident they are in their skills and who they are. And you don't see a team that's scared and they're not backing down from anybody. Now, one thing I will say is this. I know a lot of people will probably get pissed at me when I say this, but they were not playing the same TCU team from last year. That was the school TCU, but that wasn't the team that played in the national title game. That wasn't the team that played in the Final Four. The stars of that team are either in the NFL, USFL, the XFL, or somewhere selling insurance, or they transferred to some other school. Because at the end of the day, this school, TCU, is not one of those schools that's seen as one of the elites. They are a team that had a very, very good season that surprised everybody. And instead of leaving them out when they lost their conference championship, they let them in so they wouldn't have the same issues that they've had the last decade or so. Kind of excluding the Big 12 if you're not named Texas or Oklahoma. So pretty much what happened in this game is that they went against a team that was playing them as if they were a tune-up. I'm talking about TCU. And Colorado came in here as if, you know what, this is a new time, this is a new place, and they treated TCU just like who they were, the team that played in the national championship last year. So they gave them all the respect that they needed, but at the same time, they got real disrespectful as well too, but in a good way, because they had to, because so many people were counting out Colorado before the season even started. They counted them out days before the game. And then everybody should have just really realized when you have a 21-point spread and the whole world is on the team with the 21-point spread, also 7-1 money line as well too, that it closed at. Usually you don't get that small of a number with a team that's getting plus 20 points. Usually you get a 10-1 on those bad boys, but that game was so heavily bet on the money line that they had to put it down, that it got down to 7-1. At one point, it was plus 650. So there was a lot that went into that victory, and there was a lot that went into, pretty much the day of sports for betting as well, too, because this really flipped the whole board, because this was a liability game. And boy, oh boy, the books got absolutely hosed with this win right here. Even though they don't lose any money, really, it's just that when you have a high percentage on a big dog like this, it will kind of shake the house up a little bit, and that's exactly what it did. But all in all, Colorado, it's a 1 week at a time situation. Nobody should be running and having a parade yet to put this team in a national championship situation, a CFP situation, a Rose Bowl situation. This team is a week by week study. They're gonna move accordingly. They're gonna play as well as they can each and every week. But it's going to show up that there's going to be some teams that are going to be a little bit more tougher, a little bit more talented as we go through a season of transition for both Colorado and the Sanders family, because as when you look at it, we all know this is their last year in the Pac-12, headed back to the Big 12 where they came from. And this is that was a huge win because they beat a team that they'll be in the conference with next year and possibly have the same type of game against this team next year as well, like early in the season. So it's a lot. It's a lot of fun. And we know that they got their get back as well, too, because Colorado played TCU for their home opener last year, week 1, and got absolutely crushed. So here we are, and college football is in full bloom right now. And Deion Sanders was just an absolute just gem this weekend to watch, and also a gem to watch his team, because it wasn't about Deion being Deion. It was about Deion being a great coach. And it's about Deion really getting a group of men to believe, as he said to the media after the game, do you believe? And I feel like that's exactly what they needed and what he needed to get that big victory there. And kudos to them. We'll be talking more about the Nebraska-Colorado game when I do my Power 5 preview on Friday, because I'm going to do a new preview the 5 best games I see on Saturday between Power 5 school, between Power 5 with the Power 5 school, you know what I mean, or Power Conference. You know, it might not be where it's going to be since we don't have a lot of conference games going on, you know, it's going to be, you know, how it goes. But I explain it a little bit more as we get there. But all in all, though, can't wait to talk Nebraska, Colorado later on this week. And that was a hell of a game, and that was a great way to start college football and show us that it's going to be a year full of parity. All right, so let's move on and jump into our final topic before we move to our first break, and that's going to be the Labor Day game today. Number 9, Clemson and Duke going at it.